All right, it's not often that we get one of the legends on, but we got one of the legends today. Shay Knighten, two-time national champ at OU. This is a big deal. One of the legends and one of the fan favorites as well. Shay, thank you so much for doing this. If you don't mind, get us caught up on what's going on with you out there on the West Coast.
Well, first, thank you for having me. And I'm just out here coaching at the University of San Diego with my sister. This is my third season. It's crazy that I've already been here for 3 seasons, but it's so much fun. And just seeing this program grow and allowing our girls to grow and become women at the end of the day. And that's our mission here of just turning girls into women. That's something that Coach Gasso instilled in us of that's her job as a coach and that's who she wants to be. And so I took that and kind of ran with it of my own, and I'm just enjoying it. It's so much fun to see like the fruits of your labor kind of come to fruition for a coach and as an athlete of, okay, this is where I'm supposed to be and I'm exactly where I want it to be. So.
Yeah, one thing I think is really cool is, just players from your era, right? You're coaching now. Destiny is involved in softball. Jessica Schultz is involved in softball. Lauren Chamberlain is running a league. Michelle Gascoigne is the pitching coach at Northwestern. It just seems like virtually everyone you played with is in softball in some capacity. So for you, when did you decide, coaching's something I want to do when my OU career's over?
Well, it's actually something that Coach Gasso kind of brought up to me.
Yeah.
I was working one of the camps, I think either over the summer, like a winter camp or something. And she's like, I think you should try to get into coaching. And at first I was like, no, like I just want to be like maybe a teacher or something like that. Like I've always loved being around people and helping people. And so I guess coaching just kind of took over that. Like I'm still teaching. I'm still doing kind of what my childhood wanted to do of being a teacher and allowing people to grow and learn. So when Coach Gasso said that, I was like, okay, like I'll think about it. And the more camps I ran and just more camps I was involved in, and just watching Coach Gasso and JT and Rocha and even Lombardi, just how they coached and interacted with us and with the campers that we had, it was so cool to see. And so by the time I graduated, I was like, I want to coach. I wanted to continue to play softball as long as I could, but I think coaching really started to burn in my heart of that's where I want to be and that's what's my calling. And so when I got the opportunity of that with my sister, it was just an opportunity that I couldn't say no to. It's something that we both ended up dreaming about together as we both kind of went through college. And so when she got the head coach job here at San Diego, she said, I'm not saying yes to this position unless you say yes to being my assistant. And I said, okay, well, I'm saying yes. So it kind of worked out that way. And I'm so glad that it did. And I'm kind of glad that, not kind of glad, I'm very glad and very thankful that Coach Basso kind of put that bug in my ear. So.
How was that last year? Maybe that was a full circle moment for you. Your team comes out to OKC, where you've had so many incredible moments there personally. OU fans are everywhere. She told you maybe get into coaching, and now you're coaching against her team in Oklahoma City. How was that experience last year?
It was surreal, unreal. It was a moment that I was hoping I could get in my coaching career, hopefully while she is still coaching, but I never thought it would be my second year into coaching. It was such a fun moment, and to still have Cindy Romero and Fale and Kylie Lundberg still on staff and around when I was there. So it was cool to see them and to see some old friends and teammates, but it was so cool to allow my team to feel what I felt while playing at Oklahoma at the Hall of Fame Stadium. So it was just a moment that I was able to share with some people that I love, a few 100,000 of fans that I love, and to see and know that I have Coach Gasso in my back pocket every single day and know that I can call on her every single day if I needed to, and she would give me the best advice and she would be there for me. It's something that I will always cherish, and that moment is something that I will always cherish. And I think about that moment often sometimes of like, I really got to take my team to the place that I genuinely call home, allow them to experience the place that I love, allow them to play on the field that I thoroughly enjoyed playing on, win or loss. And it's a moment and a time that you can't get back. And I'm so glad that there's pictures and memories and all that stuff. And just thankful that they allowed our team to, one, go play in that tournament, but two, allow me to start the first pitch and kind of sink in Oklahoma City one last time on that field. So.
Anything in particular from Coach Gasso that you've implemented in your own style of coaching?
I think just the grittiness of everything of like, that's not enough. Don't ever be satisfied. And she would always push us, whether it's practice or game, of you can make this extra play. You can go the extra 60 feet. You have more in your tank than you think. And it's just digging deep inside and pulling it out. And she did that for me a lot of the times going through my knee injuries and stuff. She's like, no, you have more. And there's times where she's like, okay, you're giving a little too much. I can see it on your face. But I think that's something that I've kind of taken into my coaching career, of really looking at my athletes and reading them and getting to know them. So that way I know when they're telling me the truth and when they're not, and when they're being honest about where they're at physically and mentally and what they're actually giving to this game, rather than just saying, I get to put on this uniform. Like, every day is a privilege to put on the uniform. I took that of, I only have 4 years to put on the Oklahoma jersey, so I'm going to do what I can with it and make the best of it. And so I'm taking that to my athletes of, you only have 4 years to put on the San Diego jersey, so what are you going to do with it? What kind of legacy are you going to leave? And whether it's a winning record, hopefully not a losing record, or anything in between, of just go out, have fun, and embrace what this journey is. And you can always make of it what you want. It's just, are you going to go get it? So.
We had a fun question on the podcast a few weeks ago. It was, okay, here's a scenario. OU's down 1 run with 2 outs and the bases loaded in the bottom of the 7th inning. And the question was, which current or former Sooner do you want at the plate in that moment? And the 3 most popular answers that we got: Lauren Chamberlain, Jocelyn Allo, Shay Knighten. And so many people just remember the big moments that you had throughout your career, especially in Oklahoma City. I don't know if the right question is, hey, Shay, how are you so clutch? But how did you approach those big moments? Because you seemingly came through every single time you were in that spot.
I think it was just, one, trusting my process and understanding, like, I've played this game long enough to trust my instincts. And I've had some great coaches in my career that have allowed me to just be myself. And so for me, it's just relying on what I know and trusting my process, but also trusting my coaches and trusting my teammates, that even if I didn't get the job done, even if I didn't get a clutch hit or have a walk or whatever the case is, like, my teammates, my coaches, my family were still going to be those things. It didn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, like, looking back, like, it didn't really matter if I hit a home run. They just wanted me to put my best foot forward and be aggressive and take my hacks or whatever the case is. So I think it was just trusting that I could relax and do something for other people and not think about myself of, what if I get out? What if I strike out? Well, it's like, what if you hit the ball? What if you hit the ball hard and put it in play and make the defense work? Or what if you hit it hard enough and it goes over? So it's always playing the mind game of the negative versus the positive. And I always opted for the positive because my teammates were right there in the dugout cheering for me in my back pocket. My coaches were right there cheering for me in my back pocket. My family was there. And so it's just allowed me to play free, have fun, and not really care about the outcome. And then the outcome just seemingly happened to be good things. So that was always fun to, like, be like, okay, I did it. But it was also really cool to, like, look at my teammates and be like, I did it for you. It had nothing to do with me. I did it for you guys because I want us to win, not just I want Shay Knighten to win. Because if I win, then I know my team is winning. So it was always for my team.
Which former current Sooner would you pick in that spot to be at the plate?
Oh, gee, okay. Honestly, I would have to say either Lauren or Jossie as well. But listen, Cindy Romero, that girl is clutch too. So I would also throw Sid in there too.
Yeah, I remember her stomping on home plate one time and got everyone fired up. So yeah, absolutely. Do you get to watch OU? I know you got a lot going on with your own team, but do you get to watch OU a lot this year? And if you have, what are some of your takeaways about this team?
I've watched them a little bit, just kind of when I can if we're not playing. But from the highlights and the things that I have seen, like when we were in Palm Springs early in February, I was able to kind of watch their games because they played a little bit before us, and it's just cool to see how, like, gritty and strong, like legit strong they are. and it almost is like nostalgic for me because I can see how close they are. I can see like their hard work coming out and showing for them. And it looks like they're not pressing. They're just
Mhm.
going out and playing softball and enjoying it and being fiery and just being true competitors. And they're being what I say dogs. They're just going after it. And it's so fun to watch them play. It's so fun to see the transfers in there now and seeing Starocco literally lighted up in the circle. It's so cool to see her passion on the mound and her bond with Kinsey Hansen when they're a battery together is so fun to watch. Jordy Ball being Jordy Ball.
Yeah.
Um, it's just really cool to watch them, and it's something that I thoroughly enjoy, and it's just something that I think Coach Gasso does a really good job of allowing them to play like that and allowing them to play free and just have fun in this journey of softball and not really care about the outcome. It's all about, are you making your adjustments? Are you willing to do something for your teammates, or are you trying to do it for yourself? And I think the more that you can do it for your teammates and not for yourself and do it for something and someone bigger than you, that's where you see their passion and stuff come out. So it's really cool to watch them play. And I'm excited to see what they do the rest of the season.
Yeah, I'm curious how you feel kind of about the bigger picture of the program now. Like you said, like it's cool that you get to see him in person earlier this year, but you win 2 national championships and you elevate the program to one of the best. And I feel like since you've left, they've elevated it to the best, unquestioned best college softball program in the country. So how does it feel for you that you put your time in, you won 2 national championships, and now what's come after you is, I mean, Shay, I don't think there's much argument. They're the best softball program that's out there. So when you think of that, like, how does that make you feel as an alum?
It's I don't even know how to describe it. It's something that I never thought that I would be a part of, honestly. Growing up, I was just like, I want to play softball. And I didn't really know what playing in college meant until I got to Oklahoma and what that looked like. And so, as an alum, it's just so cool to continue to see the hard work that the coaching staff puts in to allow us as athletes to go in and put hard work in on the field as well. So, um, just seeing how excited and happy and how bought in our alumni are to this team and to the teams that have been after us is just so cool. And to say that I am a part of the OU softball legacy is something that is so cool and so dear to my heart that I will always brag that I went to OU and that I played
Yeah.
softball for Coach Gasso, because she's a one of a kind woman. She's someone that just puts her athletes before herself. She's like a mom, honestly, to us, and it's so cool. It's so sweet, and it's just, this program means so much to me, and I'm excited to just see where they continue to go, seasons to come and years to come, and whether Coach Gasso is at the helm of it or not, I know that the legacy and the foundation of OU softball will never change. So
What was your biggest initial reason to come to OU? I mean, California, you had offers from Cal, you had offers from UCLA, I believe. Of course, Washington had it going when you were in high school, and then Nebraska as well. Did Patty being from the West Coast, was that a big, like, what was just your big reason to come to OU?
honestly, my dream school was go to Cal.
Yeah.
And then I took a visit to Oklahoma right before I went to Cal, like maybe like a couple of weeks before I went to Cal. And just something about being there felt like home. I didn't know what it is or what it was. And to this day, I still can't really finger point what it was, but it felt like home. And so there was no doubt in my mind that I wanted to play for OU and play for Coach Gasso. And then to kind of look back and see how many people came from the West Coast, how many athletes I actually played with or against or kind of knew about came from the West Coast. And a lot of them still there. Kaylani Ricketts, Lauren
Yeah.
Chamberlain, Destiny Martinez. Sid was still there for a little bit after we graduated. And so it was just something that I felt like in my heart that I had to go to OU, and I didn't know what the future was going to hold. I didn't know what my 4 years were going to look like, but I just trusted my gut. And people were like, Shay, are you sure you want to go to Oklahoma? And I was like, yes, I'm 100% positive. Like, people were like, what, you wanted to go to Cal? I was like, I know. And it's just one of those things, like, when you know, and it might sound cliche, but I knew. And it was just something that I couldn't wait to call Coach Gasso and tell him, like, I want to commit to your program. I want to commit to you. And my parents were like, just slow down, wait. And I was like, no, I don't want to wait. But I still had to go to my visit to Cal, and I enjoyed my visit at Cal, and I loved the coaches, but just something about Oklahoma kept drawing me back. And so I finally committed. And like I said earlier, like to this day, I still call Oklahoma home. And if I could go back, I would.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully you get back here someday. I know a lot of people would love that. My last question is probably my most difficult question, and that's good because you've had so many great memories. But if you had to pick out the best memory while you were at OU, which one is it?
Oh, oh, geez.
This is another one of those questions that I could throw out to our listeners, and I'd get about 8 or 10 different responses here. So I'm curious as to which one you would pick.
I think, honestly, I think it would have to be my senior year. I'm hitting a home run against UCLA. Like, UCLA had so many people on the team that I played with or against growing up. Like, we were literally all the same age or maybe a year apart. So it was kind of like the battle of the West Coast kids, because there were so many of us in Oklahoma and so many at UCLA. But I think it was just the moment of the home run. It wasn't the fact that I hit a home run. It was like the emotion behind it, because one, it at the time, I didn't know, obviously, like the game wasn't over, but I didn't know that that would be my last at bat at OU at Oklahoma City. But the year before at the World Series, like the day before the World Series started, I had lost my grandma. And so my senior year World Series was like, I'm playing once again for someone and something bigger than myself. And I just wanted this feeling of making my grandma proud. And so, wow, I'm getting emotional, but hitting that home run and just knowing that I did it for my family, and that I was doing it for people that I love. And then coming home and seeing my teammates so happy and so excited and just like their emotion behind it. They don't know, but like when I got to them, it was like a sigh of relief. Like, wow, like I can finally pass the bat to the next person, to the next class, and hope that they feel what I felt of just happiness, excitement, and just overall like enjoyment and love for this game and for my team and for the fans of OU. And I remember stepping on home plate, and Cindy Romero was right in front of me. She was the first one to home plate. And I remember like almost like collapsing into her arms and crying, because I just felt like I felt relief. I felt like a weight had been lifted off my shoulders of like, she's okay now. My grandma's okay. She's excited. She's with me. And like hugging Sid was like hugging my grandma in a sense of like, it's okay. You did it. And I'm proud of you and I'm excited for you. And so just, I think that moment was probably my biggest and most happiest moment. Outside of them all, like they're all cool. I've had so many moments, but I think that one, like there's so much more meaning behind it rather than winning a game or winning a championship. So
Yeah. A quick follow-up to that. I mean, you just mentioned how much Patty means to you. She's like a mom to the team. Is there a feeling as a player while you're there that she invests so much in you and so much in the team, and she is so much out for your best interest, that there's a feeling that you don't want to let her down? Like, if that makes sense, is there that feeling?
oh yeah. She's so invested in us. She doesn't sleep much. I don't know if people know that. Like she doesn't sleep much, but you would never know. She's always doing something for others. And so I think for me, and not just for me, but for all of us that have gone through OU and played for her, it's like you want to make her proud, and you want to be able to hang up your cleats and be like, Coach Gasso, thank you. Thank you for pushing me. Thank you for believing in me. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to play the game and to simply keep learning and growing and finally graduate as a grown woman and know what I want and be able to speak up for myself and advocate for myself. And that's something that she did a lot for us, and she still does to this day, of advocating for our athletes. And she knows what we need and she knows what we deserve. And she doesn't stop until we get those things. And so That's something that I've taken into my own life now, not even just in coaching, just personally, of like, you deserve better. And what are you going to do to advocate for yourself? And that's something that I want to give to my athletes: of advocate for yourself, speak up. And if you don't know how to say it, ask me and I'll help you do it, because that's something that Coach Gasso did for me. So there's always this feeling of trying to make her proud. And like, in the back of my mind, I think that I'm still trying to make her proud as a coach of, you taught me well, and I'm out here and I'm learning and I'm still growing, but you taught me well. And there's things that I fall back on that she did for me as a coach when I was an athlete for her, that I'm like, yeah, I did it. And I'm going to keep doing it, because I want to change the tide like she changed it for me. So
That's incredible. Two-time national champ, Shay Knighten. Shay, thank you so much for doing this, and just know that you're always going to be a fan favorite around here. If you stay out on the West Coast your entire career, whatever, you'll always be a fan favorite. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay. That was really awesome, Shay. Thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you.
Yeah. This will come out next Friday.